Well, welcome to another episode of the Moss Sports Podcast. My name is Andy Robertson. Spencer's here, but his camera's not on. He says he has a surprise for us. I don't know what's going on, so be prepared for that, viewers. Mauricio?
I've got all my clothes on.
Oh, well, your butt might be out. I don't know. Mauricio, Emmy Award-winning Beltran Hernandez is over here. So I don't know what we should start on because Spencer's.
I'll come in just because I wanted you to see this and I wanted to get your genuine reaction because you're now looking at the world's biggest Cardinals fan.
Oh, gross.
Not only that, a man who has some championship rings.
Gross.
Rings, Ernie. I know you'd love that.
So as much as I don't like the Cardinals, that jersey is pretty sick. I do like that uni.
My mom actually got it as, I guess they were doing like a first X amount of fans giveaway or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and they were free. I was like, dang, those are like legit jerseys for free. And I was like, sure,
Yeah.
I'll take one.
Yeah.
And then they were giving out the replica Yadier Molina championship rings too. I was like, yep, take one of those too.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't like the Cardinals, but I do think they have some pretty good jerseys.
Yeah.
Pretty good uniforms. So sticking with baseball, happy belated Bobby Bonilla Day to the New York Mets and their fans.
It still blows my mind that he's getting paid.
There's another one that I have to bring up because I saw it the other day and I've learned about it over time. Rick DiPietro, he was a goalie for the New York Islanders. And apparently he's getting paid $1.5 million until the end of 2029 season.
When did that start?
In 2006, he signed a 15-year deal. And he retired in like 2013. So,
wow, I didn't know about this one. That's cool.
I didn't know about it until I've heard about him getting paid a bunch, like a ridiculous amount for a goalie, but I didn't know they were still deferring payments like Bobby Bonilla. So we have a couple of this going on.
I love those. I love those kind of contracts. That would be my dream if I was an athlete, is to get paid like that. For
sure. I mean, Bobby Bonilla hasn't played since the early 2000s, I guess, and he's still getting paid
How old is he?
Old. I don't know.
I was gonna say, because like, what a retirement plan that is.
Bobby Bonilla.
He's like 50 something.
What is that from? 59. I don't remember. There's something I was watching sometime where like Bobby Bonilla.
59, and he's still gonna get paid until he's what, 70 something?
It lasts to like 2035. So another 13 years of this. I guess we'll go back to baseball in a minute, but we can go ahead and start on a segue here to more contracts being talked about with the NBA. There's a lot of money being made by these players, crazy amounts in some cases. There's probably too many to go over. But I think we did want to highlight a couple here. First of all, Nikola Jokic, $264 million contract over 5 years, $60 million in the final year of his deal. Pretty insane.
That's wild. The salary cap has gone insane.
Yeah. What was it, like 2016, whenever the salary cap went up in a crazy amount, and I think that's when Steph got paid like $40 million a year, and I was like, what in the world?
Yeah, that might have been when John Wall got his contract too.
Yeah, and Durant, that opened the door for Durant to go to the Warriors, and insane. And it's still going on, and salary cap got bumped up like the day before free agency started.
Yeah.
Bradley Beal signed an extension to the Wizards, and Williamson signed his rookie extension. Yeah, just some other ones had went on. Russell Westbrook, Kyrie Irving opted into the final year of their deals, but there's some talk that those two might be swapped between the Nets and Lakers.
God,
And so
how embarrassing for Kyrie. He's just super annoying character. Nobody likes him. He's all over the place. He randomly skips out half the season and faces like no repercussions. And then now he just gets to dictate wherever he goes. And it's just funny because whenever he left the Cavs and LeBron, he wanted to make his own legacy to prove that like he could be the number one on a team. And now he's crawling back to Daddy James saying, please give me another ring. It's so embarrassing and funny though. So he's going to get clowned for it, but it's well deserved.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to be one of those guys that sit here and say that I side with the owners, but I think part of the reason why the NBA has lost its shine to me is because players don't ever stick with a team for very many years.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Kyrie's been in Brooklyn, 2-3 years, and he's already wanting out. I mean, and I know he's a little insane anyway, but he's not the only one doing this. It's other guys around the league that are doing this, and it just it just kind of annoys me a little bit, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. And we'll get into this. Kevin Durant's doing it too because of the Kyrie stuff. He's requested a trade with Miami and Phoenix as the possible destinations. So I see exactly what you're saying because Durant still has 4 years on his contract, which for the Nets, that's a good thing because they kind of have all the leverage here. They can put him aside and say, hey, we're trying to find the right trade. We've got 4 years to make this work. Are you going to risk not playing in the prime of your years? No, he's probably not. But so they've got all the leverage here. But when you're, that you got that many years left on your contract and you pretty much just started with this team and you're demanding a trade, that's going to throw the next CBA super out of whack. And I'm pretty sure there's probably going to be some kind of lockout or at least owner favorable deals with that next CBA because they're not going to want to see this happen because they're just seeing their money go to other teams at will. And I agree, it has caused some issues as a fan because it leaves a sour taste in your mouth. They always and it goes back to this ring chasing culture. A lot of people, a lot of fans, a lot of players, former players, analysts, everybody has started judging these guys on whether or not they have rings or not, whether or not those rings were easy or not, doesn't matter. Do they have them? And I think that's pretty much affecting all of this and causing everybody to ring chase and create these super teams. Whereas you do have outliers, but it's very rare now. And you don't see a lot of guys getting respect that don't have rings like in the past. Guys like Steve Nash,
Charles Barkley gets dogged all the time.
Yep, Charles Barkley. And then nowadays you can say the same thing about a guy like Damian Lillard and Chris Paul, and they don't get enough respect because they don't have the title because they weren't on a super team. And it's just I don't think that it should be like that, but that's kind of what today's world has revolved in, and that's why all this is happening.
Yeah, I mean, like a guy like Chris Paul shouldn't have his legacy hurt because he hasn't won a championship. I mean, especially during the era of super teams where had the NBA passed that deal where he was going to go to the Lakers, I'm sure they would have won a championship there. Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. Just this whole thing where players can just go out and decide they don't want to play somewhere after a little bit. And I mean, I know I feel a different way about the NCAA transfer situation because those guys are like 18 years old. Like, I mean, that's a different situation. They don't necessarily know what they're walking into.
They're not on contracts either.
Right. And so, but these guys, I mean, I feel like you said, in the next CBA, teams or ownership's probably going to have to say, like, if you sign a contract, you're going to have to play this amount of years unless we trade you. Like, you can't demand a trade as easily as you are now.
Yeah, something's going to have to give for sure. But, I mean, that just brings me back to, I just want to kind of reiterate, like, so KD's 2 rings with the Warriors, are you to say that that's more valuable than Chris Paul taking a Seller Suns team to the finals? Like, I don't think so, in my opinion. But the media goes out there and says, "Oh, you've got 2 championships and Chris Paul has 0." Like, it's just it's dumb.
Yeah, those Warriors teams would have won without KD probably.
Exactly.
And you just brought him even higher. So
well, they just did win without KD,
right.
which apparently is probably some of the motivation of him leaving because he saw that happen again.
Yeah, I don't know. It drives me insane that this is happening, and it makes me happier when teams like the Bucks win.
Yeah,
like, I mean, I know they're the same division as the Bulls, but they did it by building through the draft and whatnot. And
I mean, and you could still even argue that with the Warriors because they also built through the draft. So you see teams like the Warriors, the Bucks, and
Celtics this year.
Yeah, Celtics. You had the Suns in the finals. You're seeing these teams, not necessarily smaller market, but they've built it the right way. And it's super pleasing as a fan to see that. Of course, everybody else wants to see these super teams there, but I don't know.
I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that teams shouldn't sign complementary pieces when they're available or trade for complementary pieces. I just don't like whenever the players sign a contract and like 2 years in, they're like, "Oh, I don't want to be here anymore."
Yeah, they've got way too much power. And then also basketball is a lot different than other sports too, because one player can have a lot more impact on a team than say football, baseball, hockey, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Mauricio, would you rather have Kyrie Irving or Russell Westbrook on the Lakers?
Probably Russell Westbrook.
Oh. Interesting. Yeah. I don't want to see a Russell Westbrook, Ben Simmons backcourt in the Nets. That'd be disgusting.
Awful shooting.
Nobody wants to see that.
So, I mean, I guess speaking of the Kevin Durant trade request, he's listed Miami and Phoenix as his possible destination. Spencer, I know you'd probably be pretty okay if the Suns got him. I saw a trade package today where it would probably cost Phoenix Ayton going to, well, it was a hypothetical trade where
Ayton going to Utah, right?
No, this one was Ayton going to Indiana, Miles Turner going to Brooklyn, and then you had Mikal Bridges going to Brooklyn as well as Cam Johnson, and then Durant going to Phoenix.
I would definitely be upset with that one because I don't think they should be losing Cam and Mikal. I hate to lose Mikal at all, but losing one is more understandable. I don't think losing both and leveraging your entire future on getting a superstar that's in like the final 3, 4, 5 years of his prime.
Yeah,
I don't think I like that. You've already got an aging Chris Paul. So I think you got to try to hang on to those young guys. Throw as many draft picks as you can at it. That's fine. And then obviously include DeAndre Ayton in the deal. But I don't want him to give up too much. Of course, KD's going to make him a contender right away. But at the same time, like I said, you got to think about the future. So,
yeah. As far as Miami goes, we're talking about Bam Adebayo would have to be involved somehow, but he can't go to Brooklyn because
if Simmons is traded, he could. But does anybody want Simmons?
No. But there's some kind of weird rule where Adebayo can't be traded to Brooklyn because of Ben Simmons
on a rookie extension.
There's all kind of weird contract situations in the NBA. Like I'm still figuring out stuff to this day.
Don't feel bad about it because even Bill Simmons had to get on air and apologize the other day because he got it completely wrong. So you got these expert analysts getting it wrong too. It's a pretty complex contract situation.
Yeah, but it's I guess we'll see how the Kevin Durant situation shakes out from here.
I did hear that there's something coming up on the 6th, which is why guys haven't, I think, free agents haven't received competing offers. Something opens up on the 6th, so they'll wait till then. I did see a situation where if the Pacers offer DeAndre Ayton the max on the 6th, then that's going to throw this entire thing out of whack and really cause Phoenix to be in a tight situation because they either have to decide to match that, tying up their money at the moment and not allowing them to trade for KD or, let that go. So that's going to be an interesting situation too to see what Indiana does, because we've heard a lot of talk about them possibly moving on from Miles Turner, getting somebody like DeAndre Ayton. We've heard Utah Jazz possibly being interested in Ayton. Utah Jazz apparently wants to build around Donovan Mitchell. He could theoretically be a trade piece. I guess we'll see.
So I guess this might open up conversation to this Rudy Gobert trade. So Rudy Gobert was traded to the Minnesota Timberwolves for Malik Beasley, Patrick Beverley, Walker Kessler, Jared Vanderbilt, Leandro Balmero, and multiple first-round picks, and it's a crazy trade package. And
you said multiple firsts. It was a lot of firsts.
Yeah, but
unprotected too.
Yeah, so you probably know more of this. I know there's like a trade period where these guys can't be traded. So if they haven't even played for Utah yet, can they be traded to another team?
I think they can. Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, it's funny. And this is for Walker Kessler specifically. He was just drafted.
Yeah.
And he has not played. He's played for, I want to say 3 teams in 9 days or something like that.
Yeah.
It's 3 or 4. He's gotten passed around like crazy already, which is wild. Yeah. Some guys, I think guys like Devin Booker wouldn't be able to be traded for 6 months because he just signed his extension. Stuff like that. And then you have other limitations limiting guys can't be traded for a certain amount of time. I don't know the details of it, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. Because I was
crazy haul that Utah got for that though.
Yeah. And like the Bulls were rumored to trade for Rudy Gobert, and I'm glad they didn't, because for one, I don't know that they'd have the pieces that they'd want to give up to get that. Mm-hmm. They don't have the draft picks. Yeah. So that trade was insane.
Well, that's another thing too. Well, first of all, it throws the Durant situation really out of whack, because now what are they going to demand for him? But
that's what I was thinking.
At the same time, Minnesota didn't really give up any key players for that, so they kind of had to use all those draft picks. But regardless, I'm pretty interested to see Rudy Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns and Anthony Edwards and D'Angelo Russell playing in Minnesota. That's going to be a really exciting team.
Yeah, I imagine you can take Cat away from the goal a lot more now that Gobert's there.
Oh, for sure.
So spread the floor out a little bit.
And speaking of the Bulls, you brought them up. They got DeAndre Drummond for real cheap. So how do you feel about that one?
Well, so I was reading something, and as far as rebounding goes, I do like that, because he helps in the rebounding side. Mm-hmm. The Bulls were ranked in the bottom half of the league in rebounding last year, but one of the things that I read about his defense is he's not that much better than Vucevic, if any at all.
He may be worse. His defense is pretty rough.
So, I mean, they really needed another defensive big down there, and they haven't gotten it yet. They re-signed Derek Jones Jr. to like the same deal that Andre Drummond got, and then I saw today that they signed Goran Dragic. So,
did they really?
Yeah,
I did not see that.
Yeah, but I mean, I was kind of thinking Vucevic would get moved this offseason for something, just because he could, but I figured he'd be gone now. But I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird situation, because I feel like the team was not as. I mean, I've been saying this for a few years. I don't feel like they have a player that can take them to the top half of the East, or even the top 3 in the East. Like, Zach LaVine's a great scorer and great offensive player, but defensively he's not great. And then I know DeRozan went insane for a little bit last year, but I don't know. I just don't feel like the Bulls have any of those guys that can, like.
Yeah, you say that. It's weird, but I think for the Bulls, I think a lot of it depends on health. I think if Lonzo, DeRozan, LaVine were all healthy at the same time, if you have the entire team healthy, I think by committee you guys could get up to that 4, possibly even 3 seed, kind of like I want to say, I don't even remember what year, maybe 2012 Atlanta Hawks. They didn't have any just blow away superstars on that team, but they made a deep playoff run because they could put it all together and they were healthy. I think that is really what hinges on the Bulls. And unfortunately, a lot of those guys have some injury history, so it's not looking likely.
Yeah. Alonzo, I think I just saw last week that they finally feel comfortable where he's at with his knee.
That's good.
And then Zach LaVine had knee surgery, and then, it's just
a
lot of injuries for the Bulls.
Yeah, but I think that Drummond get was really good for how cheap he was, and as long as he stays as a backup, I think he's fine. He was a tremendous backup for the 76ers. So I think I think it was a good get for that price for sure. And I can't believe you guys signed Derek Jones Jr. for that cheap as well.
Yeah, he was on the team last year. I think they may have traded for him or something. But yeah, they brought him back, and they have a mid-level trade exception or something like that. But I've heard Jerry Reinsdorf doesn't want to dig into the hard cap very much.
Oh, and so, hey, I know all about the cheap ownership.
Yep. Another guy who's injured a lot, John Wall, is going to the Clippers after clearing waivers. And I kept seeing after he signed with the Clippers, like, is this the best big three in the NBA? And I'm sitting here like, this guy's played like 40 games in the last 4 years. Like, how can you?
Somebody said it'll be a super fun 5 games of them playing together.
Yeah. I mean, it's like the Nets last year when, what was it?
Exactly.
Durant, Harden, and Kyrie only played like 7 games together all year.
Those were a hell of a 7 games, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it'll still be, if they can put it all together, that'll be super tough to face in the West. I mean, the Clippers always are. Even when they didn't have Kawhi last year, they still put up a crazy fight. Ty Lue just had them guys playing in the stretch of the end of the season. But yeah, like you said, Wall's only played 40 games in 3 seasons, and 2 of them were due to injury. One of them completely out for injury. The other one cut short by injury, and then the last one, of course, he set out on his own.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then we know about Kawhi's recent injury history as well as Paul George. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But I think it'll be fun to watch as an objective viewer. I wouldn't want to be a fan of that team because I would be very nervous pretty much every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys knew that the summer league started.
Mm-hmm. I did see that. Sharif O'Neal scored his first basket.
He did after having heart surgery last year. That was pretty cool. Yeah. Another guy that did really well was Keegan Murray for the Kings. He was drafted, what was that, 4th? Yeah.
Yeah.
He had 26 points on something like 10 of 13 from the field and 3 of 4 from 3. He looked a lot better than I expected from him. He just came in and immediately made a huge impact. So maybe watch out for him if he can keep that up. Usually you see guys going in not playing too well in the summer league because of the rookie jitters, but he looks like he never stopped playing, so he's doing pretty good.
Are the Kings going to be summer league champs?
I think so. They're going to dethrone the Bulls.
Something we didn't hit on just real quick. I feel like Mauricio's bored because he hasn't said anything.
I was thinking that too.
This is kind of a big topic to talk about, though. Is Miles Bridges was arrested the day before free agency started because he's an idiot. Spencer, you said a day or a week or 2 before that, he posted on Instagram a picture of him drinking lean. Is that Sprite and cough syrup? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he was arrested for domestic violence, and I guess his wife posted stuff about it, detailing what happened.
It was pretty gruesome stuff, yeah. And there was even a video that she had posted about her kid talking about it. It was really sad, and like obviously it's a messed up situation. And I hope they throw the book at this dude and don't let him back.
Yeah. I mean, eventually they're gonna have to make examples of these dudes that are
for sure
doing stuff like this. I mean, we've talked about he who should not be named in the NFL enough.
Yeah.
So I mean, I could have added him to the notes this week. I was just like,
I considered it, and I figured we're done talking about dude.
Yeah,
and it could be that way with this guy too eventually. But let's hope that Adam Silver kind of pulls the Donald Sterling, banned for life speech and kicks him out the door, and we never see him again, because I think, there needs to be an end to this across all sports. If this was the NFL, I would honestly expect nothing much to happen. But it's the NBA. They're a little bit more progressive, and Adam Silver has shown that he's not afraid to ban someone for life, even so far as an owner. So I can't see why, especially with this much evidence and things like that, that he doesn't throw the book at him and make an example and let everybody else know that this isn't going to be tolerated.
Yeah. I mean, he was probably going to get pretty decent pay in free agency as well. So and then
he was looking at a huge payday.
Yeah, and then this happened, and he's probably not going to be playing on any team for a little bit at least. Hopefully, a while. I think that wraps up the NBA. Unless there's anything else that you had.
We've got some other stuff, but we don't have to talk about it, especially because Mauricio will finna fall asleep. So
he gonna talk about Seven Gentlemen here in a minute.
Yeah, I know he's playing Madden right now.
Nah, bro, I'm here.
Were you really playing Madden?
I was earlier in the morning.
His Madden Ultimate Team is called I Do Say.
I do say. I forgot about that until you brought it up right now.
I listened to it, I want to say last night. Yeah, I think last night or this morning I was cracking up all over again. Just so out of pocket.
Yeah.
What did I say? Because how did it even start? Like Andy went to, I could see Andy going to Ole Miss.
You just brought it up out of nowhere.
Well, kind of. I was talking about that I had driven through. We were both talking about we had driven by or through Oxford and it sucked. And then Mauricio was like, "Yeah, your kids are probably going to go there." And then he got on this borderline offensive tirade.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you'll be those families that are from Arkansas, but for some reason your kids go to
Mute him.
Ole Miss.
Yep.
Just like here in Houston, there's a bunch of people with Ole Miss alumni license plates on their cars. I'm like,
yeah. Well, okay. We probably shouldn't talk about this a second week in a row.
I don't know. People are telling me they enjoyed that on the last episode.
Oh, who was it? Who was telling you that?
Javi.
Oh, okay. Javi said that.
Yeah.
Oh boy. I am really curious as to what you were playing before we got started. Seeing if you were trading off players on their final year of their contract.
Probably what he was doing.
Getting cheated out of a 3-year contract.
You want to hit on some NHL action?
Yeah.
Not that there's a whole bunch to cover, I guess.
Of course, the Colorado Avalanche won the Stanley Cup in 6 games over the Tampa Bay Lightning. The Stanley Cup has been damaged twice already.
I was going to bring that up. They can't quit dropping it.
Yeah, it got sent to the wrong address once. Just a lot of crazy stuff happening with it.
Of course, the whole lore around the Stanley Cup in general is pretty awesome. Just how people take it to different places. You get a certain time with it to go do whatever with it. How many
dudes
times
have been eating cereal out of?
Drinking champagne out of it. It's just I don't know. I think it's probably the coolest trophy, physical trophy in sports,
and it's massive too.
Didn't someone go to the bathroom in it too?
I wouldn't put it past anyone. I think you're right. I think somebody peed in it.
Yeah, I think so. I remember hearing about that too.
And it's always it's the same trophy year after year, right? It's not one of those ones where it's just a replica.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's the same.
I couldn't remember.
I could be wrong, but I mean, I'm sure they give teams a replica because each year they have to. They put the players on the team on the rings of the Stanley Cup.
I just think that's so cool. No other sport really has. I mean, they have the physical trophy, but it's not anything. It's not that cool.
Yeah, and then I guess once those rings are all filled up, they'll start taking older ones out and everything. It's a cool trophy. I really think that's one of the like you said, it's probably one of the coolest trophies in the league or in sports. And I apologize for not being on top of this, but there's a coach that got signed by the Winnipeg Jets. The Dallas Stars coach went up there I want to say the Islanders hired somebody too. I don't know. And then Tampa Bay just traded Ryan McDonough today to Nashville for a couple players. So that top defensive line for Nashville might be nasty with Roman Yossi and Ryan McDonough.
We're McDonough with the NHL.
Yes, we are. All right.
Didn't the Red Wings get a new coach or something?
They might have. I don't know.
I saw a post or something today.
I'm not gonna lie. I've kind of checked out on the NHL for now until free agency starts.
I was gonna say it is over, so you get a pass for that. I will say the videos of them hanging out with the Stanley Cup and denting it a couple of times is very fun.
Yeah. Oh, one of the guys from the Avalanche, I think Bo Barham or something. Not the Bo Burnham, but
I was about to bring up Bo Burnham.
Yeah, but he was at the parade. He was trying to get with the team, and one of the security guys were like, "Who are you?" And he's like, "I'm with the team. I played for these guys."
Honestly, I get it. I would not recognize a soul on that team, probably.
Yeah. A lot of the comments were saying like NHL players look like the most average dudes in the world.
They do. And I don't even know if I would recognize a whole lot of NFL players either, just because they wear helmets all the time.
Yeah, that's like I'll watch these videos of these dudes like, oh, that's so and so when their helmets are like they're in street clothes. I'm like, how do you know who that is?
Yeah, there's no way unless it's like a top tier guy like Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes. Like, there's no way I would spot anybody out in public and be like, oh yeah, that's an NFL player.
Yeah, I couldn't miss Peyton Manning's forehead. So,
well, true, that's true. I actually can see it out my window. It's a beacon.
It's the tallest mountain in America now. Okay. So I don't know that we should talk about the blackouts and automated strike zone. Those are tired conversations.
Yeah.
That I don't know that's actually going to happen. So kind of the biggest news this week, Freddie Freeman.
This is for the MLB, by the way.
Yeah, MLB. So Freddie Freeman fired his agent, and there were rumors that his agent didn't come with him for the last Atlanta Braves deal, the final deal that the Braves offered. And so that was part of the reason why Freddie Freeman went to LA, which he's from around the area, I think. The agent, I think, said that the Braves lied or something. I'm not exactly clear on what's going on, but it just sounded like Freddie Freeman wanted a chance for the Braves to offer another or like a final contract, and he never found out about it, and so that's why his agent was fired. And I don't know the specifics of that Braves contract, because I feel like if the agent was hiding it from Freddie Freeman, then the agent probably wanted, like, the LA deal might have been better for the agent to get more money off of or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we'll never know that, but yeah, I bet you're right.
So now there's a whole bunch of, does Freddie Freeman actually want to be in LA talk? And
he probably never wanted to leave the Braves.
Yeah, I mean, that was the only franchise he ever knew playing for.
Yeah, sure, he fell in love with the fans.
He won a World Series for them. He stuck with them when they were bad. And I don't know.
Yeah, I can't say I blame the guy. It sounds like he didn't want to leave, and then he kind of not had to, but I mean, when you have a certain deal, you can't really pass up that amount of money.
Right. Yeah. MLB draft bust Mark Appel made his debut this week after 9 years after he was drafted number 1 overall. He was drafted first by the Houston Astros in 2013, and this was one of those drafts that I was going to look back at in 2020 and kind of like see if I could redraft the draft, because there's some big names out of there. Chris Bryant was taken number 2 overall, John Gray number 3, Aaron Judge was drafted number 33, Tim Anderson number 27. The draft had Corey Knebel, Devin Williams, Cody Bellinger, Adam Frazier, Trey Mancini, Jeff McNeil, Mike Yastrzemski, just a bunch of big names from that draft class that were drafted a lot later than Mark Appel. And Appel's story is really sad, because he was drafted by the Pirates the year before in 2012, didn't sign with them, decided to go back to college. Pitched his final collegiate year, drafted number 1 by the Astros, was traded to the Phillies organization at some point, and then he retired like in 2019 because of shoulder issues, and then came back and made his debut. So, yeah, a lot. I hope he does well, but there's just a lot of crazy stuff going on.
Cool story if he really kicked butt out there.
Yeah,
I'll be rooting for him for sure. But you mentioned redrafting. I think if you redraft any MLB draft, it's gonna. I think obviously, like, just because of there's such a huge variance, you never know who's a diamond in the rough.
right.
So many rounds. I think that'd be a lot. Each year you could redo that really.
Yeah, and I mean it takes forever for guys to get up in the majors unless they're polished college players. So
yeah. Well, we've seen like I don't know if you saw the news about Kumar Rocker, the pitcher out of Vanderbilt. He's in the minors now. He's doing well, but he just had surgery, so I guess we'll see how that affects his draft status.
Yeah.
All right. Say, let's talk some more MLB.
Yeah, so I'm going to share my screen real quick because it has a picture of all these.
I'm glad. I was about to ask.
What are they called? City Connect jerseys. I'm not a huge fan of them.
I'm going to have to buy some more jerseys.
You guys see them?
Yeah. Oh, maybe I'm not going to have to buy some new jerseys.
Yeah, they're awful, in my opinion.
Jeez.
Like,
oh my God.
Almost all of them are bad. But I bring this up because the San Diego Padres just released theirs, and honestly, I think they're some of my favorite that have been released.
Wait, they're not on here, are they?
Yeah, they're right here with this sad-looking Blake Snell.
You like that?
Yeah, I do.
I hate that. That was like the worst one.
Really?
Whoa, what
yeah.
the heck?
I like it.
Nah, see, go back. Yeah,
Like
stay
Italian
there.
Candy.
These are all pretty crap, but I think the one that I like the best is the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, that one's probably my favorite too. One of my favorites.
All the other ones.
I like Washington's as well.
The Royals I can dig too. Where's the Washington?
Is it just for a couple teams or every team?
I think every team's eventually going to get these, but
like what's the idea behind them? Like what's
it's just Nike to sell to sell more money.
They do them in the NBA some too.
Yeah.
The Colorado one is trash.
Yeah, I hate that one. Everyone was like, "That's a good one." It's going off of their license plates, but it's not good.
It looks like a softball uniform.
Yeah.
The Guardians look like a high school graphic design student did that one. Wrigleyville looks like
this one. This is
Charlotte Hornets.
The Giants.
Oh, Giants. Sorry, Giants.
And this is
what?
Giants, Dodgers,
Cubs
Diamondbacks.
definitely looks like the Hornets for sure.
If they would have went with light pants, I'd be more okay with it. But I hate the same color pants as the jersey. It just looks like pajamas to me.
Now I feel bad for the audio only listeners because they're just hearing us talk about what we're seeing, and that's okay. Just imagine some really hideous jerseys, like probably the worst thing you can think of.
Houston's definitely looks like some pajamas.
I've seen people with that jersey around here, dude, and I
figured you did
what they were doing. But
you thought they were just big Elon Musk fans.
If the jersey
they just went to the flea market and found a random jersey that somebody would like a copycat jerseys that somebody made at home, you know?
Yeah. So if the jersey by itself was there for Houston, I think it'd be okay. But since they have the same colored pants, like it just looks stupid.
Like a romper.
It's like, you melt Skittles and you dropped it on a white jersey for every team, like, different colors.
Yeah. Okay.
But here's the thing. You got to think like there's marketing departments, and then there's all these artists and graphics and all these people that get paid money to come up with these ideas and color schemes and designs. And then you said at the end of the day, I don't know, maybe a year or two, they worked on these ideas, before they printed it on a shirt. And you're like, this is the best we could come up with.
I refuse to believe that this took years to come up with.
No.
I don't know, dude. This was like in somebody's board in somebody's office. Like they had a meeting one day, and then it started piling up, and they're like, bam. And then one day they're like, oh look, the Colorado Rockies. This is the best we can do.
I do really like the Diamondbacks one though.
Yeah,
I'll give them that. That one's sick.
Is
Yeah,
it yellow or white?
it's like a sand cream color. I think they're going for sand or something like that.
Yeah.
Looks like pudding.
Okay, I guess we're done talking about this. But what blows me away is that sportslogos.net, like you can go through the forum section and they have like a bunch of people upload their concepts, and a lot of those look better than what teams come up with a lot of the time.
I've never understood why they haven't tried to crowdsource stuff like that, because people are always coming up with concept jerseys, concept
Yeah.
uniforms, different
Mhm.
logos and stuff like that. And it would be so easy just to crowdsource it, pick a winner, pay them, and
Yeah.
boom, you've got it. But
Yeah.
I guess they want to use their
Instead
own
of-
in-house
Instead
people.
of paint marketing departments, you know.
Well, yeah, I'm not trying to say put us out of a job here, but if fans are putting out stuff like that, I mean, you may as well utilize it.
Yeah,
You know,
because
but if I was
otherwise,
the president, there would be no marketing departments.
Well, there still would be, because it's the marketing department's decision
would
to
outlaw
make
it.
this decision. So, and they do way more than just graphic design
Get
on.
the Supreme Court to
No.
vote down marketing departments.
okay,
No. So they still
Okay.
have to advertise and come up with market strategies and communication. Speaking of market
Market
strategies, no,
strategies.
I shouldn't have said that
No.
word.
No.
Oh no,
oh,
PTSD.
Because they're
speaking of
censored.
which, I forgot to mention this in the intro. We have officially made a penny,
Oh yeah, we are a profitable podcast.
and
There we go.
and we have people stealing our logo, so that's fun.
Yep, creating fake pages with my sports logo. We've made it big.
So we finally made it there.
We got there.
You want to get rid of marketing departments, Mauricio? You were asking about graphic design not too long ago.
He was like, how can I get it to graphic design? You know what? I can't. Forget it. Forget
And
all
his-
marketing.
And his big act as when he comes president is to get rid of marketing departments.
I'm gonna become everything that's against marketing and arts. I'm gonna become an accountant.
You're gonna have to market yourself to become president, though.
He hasn't thought this through.
It's
Okay.
gonna be the word of mouth.
Okay. So I guess it was Saturday. The St. Louis Cardinals hit 4 home runs in a row. It's just the 11th time in MLB history. Nolan Arenado also hit for the cycle in that game, or it was a game before that. Nice.
That's him.
That's him.
That's the guy.
Arenado has hit for the cycle twice in his career. Of course, that's a home run, triple, double, single. There's some controversy about whether he actually got his single or not, because third baseman didn't field it correctly, and then he overthrew the first baseman by a lot, but whatever. And then I guess it was the previous Sunday, the Angels and Mariners got into a big brawl, and there were actually fisticuffs being thrown.
I bet Mauricio enjoyed that. A little excitement brought to baseball. I think
Well-
there should be more of it.
A little Donnybrook,
A little Donnybrook.
and
They had some
Oh,
really good fan footage from somebody right up on the net. It was pretty dope.
I'm brawling you guys.
Are you the toughest guy in Letterkenny?
No, that's Wayne.
Oh, okay.
I watched another episode last night where some college kids come back, and he once again beat
Of
the heck out of
course.
this dude. Yep. Such a fun show.
Nice.
Yeah, Jesse Winker flipped the double bird to some fans.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
And there was this little girl that was there. I guess she's a Reds fan, and they were trying to go see Jesse Winker, and he got ejected in
no.
like the second inning, and so she was upset, and I guess the Mariners hooked her up with some stuff, or the Angels
That's
won. I
cool.
can't remember.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right, I think we should get Mauricio involved in conversation more here.
Mauricio is absolutely going to love this first NFL topic, because it brings the best of both worlds, NFL and boxing. Mauricio, Adrian Peterson, and Le'Veon Bell are set to square off in a boxing match. Who do you got?
Le'Veon Bell.
That's what I was thinking too. He's too quick.
Adrian Peterson sold and smoky now. He can't do anything.
He is. He's old, and his knees aren't going to hold up.
But
I don't think he's
Adrian
got the lateral
Peterson's
quickness.
But Adrian Peterson is an experienced hitter.
Oh shoot! Oh my gosh! I didn't even think about that. Oh my gosh! That's good. That was really good. Touche.
Well,
Oh, I cannot believe I didn't see that coming.
neither did.
Oh no! Don't. No.
I'm gonna
Bad,
stop.
Andy.
I
Well,
do
if
say
we weren't shut down before.
Jeez.
Every episode has something. Charlotte
It
Bobcats.
does.
I forgot to mention them.
Oh, you just threw it in there. No, I do think Le'Veon's too quick side to side though. I think he'll get him. I think it's going to be embarrassing for boxing in general, but it's something. It's something going on.
I shouldn't be joking about that. I'm sorry.
You're forgiven.
Every episode has something borderline in it now. So,
well, let's move on. Terry McLaurin signs a 3-year, $70 million extension. And that's that.
Yep, he ended his holdout with the commies. Scary Terry. Back it up, Terry.
Put it in reverse, Terry. It is that time. It is that
is.
time of year.
Yep. Happy Independence Day, Americans.
I guess belated once this comes out. Let's talk a little bit about college football. I think this is another area where Mauricio will get involved a little bit. So USC and UCLA are set to join the Big Ten in 2024. Andy, you had some questions about this.
Yeah, I think kind of the first questions that people were asking was, what does Oregon do? And Spencer, I think you added in Washington because they've been one of the better college football teams over the last few years as well. Yeah. And also you kind of wonder what the ACC does to respond, because they're one of the bigger conferences per se, one of the Power Fives, and I feel like they have to do something. The Big 12 kind of have started stuff with Texas and Oklahoma moving over, but
which
the Big
Texas
12
and
is
Oklahoma may try to expedite that with this going on.
Yeah, but I think the Big 12 is just weaker by Oklahoma and Texas leaving.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk though about some Pac-12 teams leaving to go into the Big 12, as well as AAC teams going to the Big 12. So it may end up balancing itself out. I guess we'd see. But I do have some answers for you.
But I will before you do that. I just think it's funny that, kind of the talk with Lincoln Riley leaving Oklahoma was that he didn't want to go to the SEC, and now he's going to the Big 12 or the Big 10.
It's funny, and it's like the opposite brand of football that he coaches and plays is the Big 10. It's like big offensive lineman, big defensive lineman, smash mouth football, and he's spread them out, throw the ball type of guy.
Yeah.
But from what I've heard, Oregon and Washington are waiting for a decision from Notre Dame on whether Notre Dame's going to join the Big 10 as well. And the Big 10, if Notre Dame does join, I think that opens up more talk for expansion into kind of a super conference type deal. And then you asked that ACC question. So from that perspective, from what I've heard, they have a massive TV deal with ESPN through 2036 worth $240 million. So members leaving that might have to pay a hefty cost for leaving that. So that might kind of hamper the ACC doing much of anything before then, unless they can strike some kind of buyout deal. But yeah, I mean, this is the start of Super Conference, and it sucks from fans' point of view. In my opinion, it sucks for a lot of different reasons. Obviously, from the underdog parity perspective, you're not going to see Cincinnati teams like Cincinnati coming up, and especially in football, making it into the college football playoff, because they're going to take obviously a team with more losses in a super conference than they will what they call now a G5, and that's just, it's not good. And as well, I don't like it for geographical reasons, because imagine being a non-football athlete. So let's say you're playing baseball, volleyball, soccer, something like that, and midweek you have to travel from, and this is just an example of what will happen in the Big 10 with the USC and UCLA joining. Let's say you're Rutgers and you have to go midweek from New Jersey all the way to LA, and also try to stay on top of your schoolwork. And it's not going to be the only once a year either. So it's just, from a student athlete perspective, like, that's awful. You're trying to, you're going there, and you're going there for school, especially with these non-football athletes. And it's putting a lot of burden on them. March Madness is going to potentially be see a little bit of suffrage in that with the end of some St. Peter's types teams. You might start seeing an end to some automatic qualifiers for different conferences because they'd rather put like a 500 team from a super conference rather than a lowly St. Peter's team because they deserve it more and play in a super conference. And so that just I mean it's all just lame. I'd expect nothing less from the NCAA, but I was thinking about solutions to it though, because obviously I don't want to just complain without coming up with any type of solutions. I thought maybe putting a hard cap on the number of teams per conference could solve this, placing geographical restrictions, time zone restrictions, or something. And I might even be okay with it if they limited this realignment to football only. Because like I said, I've got issues with the non-football sports. But yeah, if they kept it to football only, I might be okay with it. What do you guys think?
I'll let Mauricio go because he hasn't said a whole lot. But
No, dude, when I saw it the other day, I was like, man, this is doesn't make sense. This is crazy, you know. It's UNC and UCLA are like, it's like the biggest deal for us in the West Coast, and now it's like we're just in the West Coast, where like we belong to this something that's like in the middle of nowhere, you know.
Yeah.
And then I don't know. To me, those, yeah, I guess it's just because of the money, right? But because otherwise, like the Big Ten's not a big deal conference like the Pac-12 or the SEC. You know, it's like okay, we're it's still the Big Ten, but you're not.
I'm gonna disagree with you there.
I think Big Ten's probably second behind SEC.
Yeah.
No.
Big Ten's better than Pac-12, easy.
Yeah.
SEC, ACC.
ACC is like Clemson and
whoever. I would say SEC, Big Ten,
yeah,
ACC, Pac-12.
I'd agree with that.
I'm sorry about your West Coast guys.
The Big Ten is Ohio State, dude. That's it. Like that's it.
They don't have
Michigan played in the
Michigan State
college football playoff.
That was pure luck.
Okay.
This year they'll stumble and fall again. But it just, I don't know, dude. It just doesn't make sense. It's like, I remember a few years back, I was like, oh, I want some change in football, but I'm getting too much of it. I wanted a little change.
It's a monkey paw. The monkey paw curls.
Yeah, because like you said, like obviously for the sports that are supported by the Big Ten, you're gonna have all this travel, but then all the other sports that aren't supported, they're gonna have to play in some other random conference out west. And then probably for football and baseball, basketball and all. I mean, basketball and basketball, football. No. Basketball, volleyball. Probably those that played more during the week and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like it's probably gonna be situations where you're gonna be like 2, 3, 4 days out in the East Coast. You're just gonna have to stay there because you're probably gonna have to play a couple games in a row because they're not gonna be able to. They're not gonna fly the volleyball team back and forth all the time.
Yeah.
They're gonna the football team. Okay, that makes sense because they're making money. But the volleyball team, they're like, hey, you're gonna spend like 2 weeks out east, like playing all these games, and then you're gonna get back, and then you have to play all these games at home for like 2 weeks. Yeah, it's gonna be a big mess.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. So I'm trying to think of how to word this. So we for Texas and Oklahoma, the travel is not as big of a deal as UCLA and USC in the Big Ten, just because Texas and Oklahoma are still within that southeast geographic region. I mean, the furthest they're going to have to travel is like South Carolina and the two Florida, or I guess Florida states in the ACC. But something that I've thought of this week, a couple different things. So like all these. So if we're going to have super conference, there's already like the FCS, FBS differential. And of course, these FCS or FBS schools are currently playing in the FBS. I mean, we could see a Big Ten SEC conference altogether or separate level because that's really what they're doing.
It would be, yeah. It would be a new level with basically AFC, NFC like NFL, but SEC.
Yeah, and so like, something I've thought about is like some of this realignment in some of these smaller conferences, like the Sun Belt has recently got another team. All American Conference has gotten a bunch of newer schools moving up from the FCS level to the FBS, and I don't know that it's going to be watered down necessarily, but it kind of has that effect of now the FCS feels like third tier in a way,
Yeah.
whereas it's supposed to be second tier because now you've got Big Ten, SEC, then you have other FBS conferences, and then FCS, and so that might have an impact on recruiting. As far as travel goes, I know at least how this worked out with UCA, and I don't think I'm saying anything crazy at this point, but whenever they joined the ASUN, they had several coaches that decided they wanted to stop because they didn't want to do this travel, which is because the Southland Conference, when UCA was in it, was just like Texas and Oklahoma, or Texas and Louisiana, and then they added in like Tennessee, Florida, like started moving southeast, and so that could have an impact on some of these Big Ten coaches as well. Which if you're, oh, I forget his name, Greg Schiano, I guess. If you're Greg Schiano and he wants to spend more time with his family, not that he's a great coach, but he may not want to travel to the West Coast, and so then you're going to have openings at Rutgers, or you're going to have openings at these other schools, and like you mentioned, like the non-football athletes are going to have a rough time with it as well, just because they are flying to and from these places. And I imagine, like Mauricio said, you're going to have to set up schedules to where you're in a certain location for a certain period of time, which I think that's where the Pac-12 was nice for these schools, because it was regionally. Like the furthest you're going to go is Hawaii, probably. But now you've created travel problems. You've created issues with coaching staffs. NCAA has like allowed this stuff to happen, like you said, Spencer, and it's probably going to overall water down the product, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And just another point, and I keep bringing up your guys' points because I agree with them. Like, we already have a problem with the college football playoff. Like, Cincinnati had a heck of a time trying to even get into it this last year, even though I thoroughly thought they deserved to be in it. And you said that it's going to be harder, and I completely agree, because they're going to pick schools from these two massive power conferences, and so it's just, I don't know, it's insane.
Yeah, I think you're right, though. It'll ultimately lead to pretty much their own league. But to play a little bit of devil's advocate here, you could argue, some people might argue, that it's already structured like that with P5, FBS, G5, and then FCS. I guess just throwing that out there. But yeah, I think it's going to end up them creating their own league. I really do think that.
Yeah. I don't know. It's insane. It's going to cause more movement in general, I think, with teams. And I mean, people said that that conference realignment was going to continue on for years now, but you're going to have teams that still have the eye to move up to FBS and whatnot. But I saw you just took that off, but I thought that was interesting too. Ronaldo. Because I mean, I guess I'm kind of done talking about.
Okay, yeah.
Football. I don't know if Mauricio is.
I will say, before we move on to that, I will. You were talking about the ASUN a little bit. I'll just highlight the NCAA did deny Bellarmine a chance to be in the NCAA tournament again in 2023 for the second year in a row for no reason. So NCAA also sucks on that front. But yeah, we can go ahead and talk about some football.
Football. Yeah, so Cristiano Ronaldo is asking out of Manchester United because he wants to play in Champions League, and he's only been there 2 years, 1 year.
I think it's one, yeah.
Yeah, because he left
Real
Madrid for Juventus. Probably didn't say that right.
And then Juventus for Man U.
Yeah. So I don't know.
LeBron,
because they were. Manchester United only won 3 out of their last 12 matches.
Yeah, they finished 6th, I think.
Yeah. So.
And then put a link in here. Just a little interesting tidbit I found right before the podcast. So the Arkansas Razorback basketball team has actually a higher average height and wingspan than current NBA rosters. I thought that was interesting. Arkansas comes in at an average height of 6'6.3", where the NBA in general is 6.61, and then or 6'6.1". And then the wingspan for Arkansas is 6'10.7" on average, and for the NBA, 6'10.6". Thought that was pretty interesting. So that might be really cool to see them this season, and obviously teams are going to have a really hard time scoring on that.
Yeah. Arkansas has the top recruiting class this year? One of the second.
Yeah, I think they're second.
Yeah, which I saw. So
Four confirmed.
What did you say?
Final Four confirmed.
Oh, I don't know about that. We'll see.
Mauricio got so bored he got back to playing Madden.
He did. He really is. I'm sorry, Mauricio. This just ain't your episode, is it?
No, fui al baño.
Is Baño?
Fui al baño.
Yeah, I need to. I've been holding it though.
Yeah. What are you playing? Can we get a glimpse at what you're doing?
Yeah. Show us what's going on.
I'm sitting on my recliner.
Yeah, show us what you're playing.
He's playing like.
You playing something embarrassing?
Are you in the strip club at GTA 5?
Oh, that's what he's doing.
I'm just kidding.
I see.
Okay, he's not gonna show us.
Oh! What do we got?
YouTube.
It's just YouTube on TV.
You really did get bored of us. Thanks.
I just have it in the background, you know.
I get it.
Well, at least we're not going to I do say and stuff like that.
No, don't bring it up.
I do say.
We only have 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes.
That's true. God, I gotta pee so bad. We gotta end this thing.
All right. Thanks for stopping by. This has been another episode of Moss Sports. Go check us out